Check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. This video, I want to talk about ways to better help when it comes to being able to raise up the feeling of your wish being fulfilled. In case you're not familiar, I've been talking a lot here lately about the law of assumption. So what I'm talking about is if you having a desire, right? And instead of keeping this desire in the state of wanting it, create a scenario in your mind where you are actually living it in the right here, right now. So it's not something that you're not looking at it as something, as a future event, as something that's going to come, something that's about to happen. You're going in your imagination and you living out this event as it's reality right now. Not only visualizing, but you're bringing in the feeling that you would have if it was actually reality. I'm in a couple of different Neville Goddard groups on social media, so I hear people talk all the time, and they talk about how they struggle with being able to call up this feeling, or they struggle with being able to hold a thought and remain in that vision for a stretched period of time. Though this is nothing that anyone has to teach us, because we already do it. We just do it unconsciously most of the time, right? And we're not aware of the effect that is having. So people struggle with doing this deliberately. But we do it all the time, in the sense of, like, how many times have you just dwelled on your financial situation and you be feeling that shit too, and you just get lost in the thoughts, and right, you'll play out a whole movie in your mind, and you be meditating on that shit, or just being worried about something happening to your children. You play out these scenarios in your mind. It raises up your anxiety, right? So your emotions are involved, and you hold on to that shit for a little stretch period of time, for a moment. So these are functions, like, we do this all the time, every day. Just we're not conscious to what it is that we're doing. And as a result, we often get a lot of shit manifesting in our lives that we don't want. So the whole idea The whole concept to this thing is to deliberately use our mind in that way, focused on the reality that we actually want to experience, or the reality that we think we want to experience. Because lots of times, you know, I remember I asked, just a quick side note, I remember one time I was kicking with my homegirl, you know, and she deep, like down to earth, but like deep and shit. And we was just chopping it up, and we got to talking about like the devil and shit. And I asked her what was her perspective on the devil. And she said, to me, the devil is just the reality of getting what you thought you wanted. I'll leave that at that. But I digress. All right, so back to what I was saying. So you focus on this reality that you want. You live in it. That's the whole idea to the method, right? And you bring your senses along for the ride. So you wanting to make this thing feel like reality, feel as real and as natural as possible. So people struggle when it comes to the feeling part because most of the time you feel like you have to force the feeling. Neville Goddard says all the time, but like force has nothing to do with it. If you happen to force something, then basically you're not doing it in a way where you're going to get the best results. So when we talk about making something feel as real as possible, right? And naturally, we don't force feelings. Just throughout the day, feelings change all the time. Moods change all the time. Our attitude towards different shit changes all the time, but we don't have to force it. Force don't be a part of it. It comes natural. So you don't force the feeling, you assume. It's the whole idea behind the law of assumption, right? You're assuming whatever this thing is you want, if you really had it right here, right now, if that was your reality, you assume what that would feel like. You don't have to feel like this or you don't have to feel like that, right? You're not trying to force yourself to feel any type of way. You're just assuming what it would feel like. Now, a technique that will help you be able to call up these feelings is to look back, go into your memory, and call to mind a time where you experience this feeling, because you're not creating a feeling. Creation is done, so you're just calling back to mind this feeling. I give you an example. All the time, people start thinking about their deceased loved ones, right? And before you know it, your eyes get to watering up, right? Those emotions get to running, right? You feeling, those feelings are strong now. We do this shit unconsciously all the time. It's the same exact process. We're just doing it deliberately, directed at some shit that we actually want to spring up. So, if it's love that you want, then go in your memory and just remember the feeling whenever you felt the most loved. Call to mind that feeling and the way you felt, right? And then you raise up that feeling. And then shift your focus. Hold on to that feeling, but just direct your focus to that desire that you want. And imagine yourself living there in real time, living out that reality, holding on to that feeling that you want to feel. And that's how you do it. And you don't have to do this shit for no long, drawn out period of time. Bruh, if you get 2 minutes in, if you can go in your imagination and live inside that reality that you wanting to manifest, go inside your imagination for 2 minutes at a time. That's it. Because it's hard to tune out the outside world. It's hard to tune out your real life for a long period of time. But if you get there to where you can do it like in 2 minute increments, bro, that shit, it can be powerful. The only thing, probably the biggest thing, when our manifestations don't take place, even though we're doing the work, is those 2 minute times that you going and living in this reality. Though it really don't matter if you spending the rest of the entire day doubting it or looking around at your situations in your physical life now and accepting that to be an actual fact. Basically, then your assumption is that shit that you want ain't gonna happen. It's not real. Or you worry so much about what would have to happen, what would have to change in your life in order for it to happen. You get caught up in worrying about the how, right? It all comes back to you identifying that reality as separate. And it's just contrary to everything we're doing as far as the meditations and shit and the manifestation techniques. because what we're doing is, in the world of the subconscious, time ain't a thing. So what we're doing is we're trying to collapse the realities. You're trying to merge this fantasy in your head. You're trying to merge this reality because it exists already. It's just not here on the physical plane yet. The physical is the last one to experience it. So we're just trying to merge this into this. All right, so where am I? And so another thing, and this is going to come off as a contradiction, but another thing when we talking about feeling, like the feeling that you raising up, the feeling doesn't always, like the feeling doesn't have to be like super excitement and overjoyed. When you dealing with magic, with manifestation, also that nonchalantness, there's power in that. So that's a big thing with magic. After you do your, got a bug flying around here somewhere. So after you do your, oh, the little AC dripping. That's okay. Now that makes sense. After you do like your ritual work, you always told, put out your mind, go on about your day, forget about it, right? Maybe you burn a piece of paper up, forget about it. I'm just saying that nonchalantness definitely has a place whenever we're talking about manifestation, because when we're going into this scenario in our imagination, remember, programming the subconscious, we want to make things seem as real as possible, right? And there's lots of things in your life today that you had that at one point you didn't have them in your life. At one point you were super excited to get it when it was coming in, right? And now today you're just nonchalant about it. Like it's there now. It's reality. It's solid. Like you're not spending every day admiring it anymore, clapping your hands and being excited about it. Now you just, this is how we naturally are. So you create a vision, a scenario. It doesn't always, like, it doesn't have to be that you are, like, if it's a job that you want, the scenario doesn't have to be a scenario where you are actually get the phone call that you got the job, right? The scenario could be a scenario that you already got the job. You already had this job. You've been working there for a couple weeks now, right? So that excitement, you know, the dust and settled and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like now, like you will probably be more nonchalant about it, right? So your vision could be something about you just sitting in your office doing your little paperwork. That's just an example of what I'm saying when I just mean like that feeling that you're raising up. It don't always have to be some feeling like of overjoy and shit. And that's something that like I've been working on myself. Like it may be easier to raise up the feeling of just shit feeling normal as opposed to super exciting. Either or. It's the feeling. It's just about assuming that feeling. So, anyway, I think I said what I wanted to say. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you don't know and you want to know more about shit I'm talking about, then research Law of Assumption. I'm out.